Hey, Flesché. So, in another episode, you were talking about slow lane living.
Oh, yeah.
And this idea has been coming up more and more for me, and I've been trying to do it. I wouldn't say I'm always
Mm,
successful at it, but it's what I aim to do, especially now that we're in midlife. That hustle culture is just not kicking it anymore. Overscheduling myself isn't working anymore. But I just thought we could both talk about how to how to get into that, how to lean into that. And I know you've really been doing some deep dive stuff around slow lane living. Talk
yeah.
to us. What are we talking about here?
Girl, for me, you've known me for a long time and I'm super ambitious.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that part of myself. And
Mm-hmm.
it builds and it dies back and it builds and it goes back. And right now I feel like I'm in a building phase again. But I'm also noticing I don't have the energy that I had when I was 25, or even the energy I had when I was 42 and pregnant with my second child, had a 3-year-old, and I wrote a book and launched a really big thing. That level of ambition and all coming together with so many other things.
Yeah.
I took a lot of pride in that at that time, and I was actually having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so it was really working for me, and I had the energy for it. I don't have that kind of energy anymore. I'm turning 52 this month, girl.
Oh my God, 51 right behind you.
Yeah. So I think there's something for me about really accepting and loving this pace that my body wants to be at. Because my sleep's all over the place now. It's not like I'm sleeping more. Sometimes I'm even sleeping less.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm noticing that my body wants to slow down a lot more. I want to take naps.
Mm-hmm.
I've been firing up my yoga practice a lot more lately.
Yeah.
So for me, what I'm doing right now is marrying my ambition, that badass part of myself.
That still wants to do things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have so many goals.
We have so many goals. We have this open space, or this space opening up for a lot of us at this age. So it's like, Mama wants to do something, but also my energy level is a little less than it used to be.
Exactly. And so many of us want to recreate ourselves, want to recreate our careers, want to create our marriages, want to recreate our health.
Yes.
We have that opportunity. And so for me, a lot of that looks like protecting my peace, protecting my energy, protecting where my attention is going.
Yes.
And so like one thing, and I've actually done this for a long, long time, is like when I get a text or an email or a phone call, even sometimes, I'm not like the first person to be like, oh, I got to get back on that right away. And you've seen this with me. I am not a fast text responder. And sometimes I am when it's right for me, or if it's something, if it's an emergency or something, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But like keeping my alerts turned off.
Yeah.
That I have stopped hustling for other people.
And
just because you have a need of me,
right,
doesn't mean I've got to be, oh no, I've got to get all frantic and hot and bothered.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's this expectation now that we are open 24/7 for communication. Well, just because someone sends me a text at this moment doesn't mean I'm available at this moment. But we have this weird culture now that is immediate, the push button. So how do we sort of push back against that? And thank you. You gave me the tip not too long ago about turning off my news notifications because so much is happening currently, and I want to be informed, as you do too, but I need to take in this news when I can, because I also think there is a strategy going on right now, which is just to do whack-a-mole, right? With so many crazy things coming at us, it's like you just get overwhelmed.
Confusion, chaos, surprise, shock, fear.
And then I just escape from it all because it's just too much. So rather than going through that cycle of like overload, shutdown, let me come to it. I even made an agreement with my husband last night because I came in all fired up about something that had just happened. And he said, Jess, I didn't check my phone once today. And I said, do you want to hear this right now? And he said, not really. I said, okay, we need to make like an agreement about when do we want to talk political stuff? When is it like a must, and when is it, can we bookmark that for later?
Well, I remember sitting in the kitchen talking to you and your husband about that just a few weeks ago.
There you go. There you go.
And my agreement with my husband is still hooked in with the news.
Okay.
And he tells me the important things. And that's our agreement right now. We've been doing it for some time. So it's been working for me. I feel good about that. I know some girlfriends might hear that and be like, oh, Flesché is just like can't be bothered and relying on a man. And yes, in this moment, I definitely am.
No, you're relying on your partner who is going to be the news conduit because
Yes.
as we both also identify as real empaths, real sensitive people, the news hits us differently
Yes.
than it hits certain people, right? Some people can read the news and it can be very factual to them. I read it and it's personal and I'm immediately imagining things and it's a whole thing.
Yeah. And so many of us are getting dysregulated. We're
So
not
much.
able to regulate our emotions properly when this news is coming at us,
Right.
texts are coming at us, emails are coming at us, phone calls, people knocking on your office door. There's so many invitations
Yeah.
to be on someone else's timeline.
So
And
many.
that is the opposite of slow living.
It is the opposite, and I hear this from more and more people for like our age, midlife women. Also, I'm concerned for my teenagers. We're concerned for our young kids around how is this going to impact them? And the research isn't out yet about what does it mean to be on our phones all the time or to be online all the time.
So overstimulated.
So overstimulating. So interesting because when we were talking about doing this episode, the two things that popped up for me were I listened to a podcast with an interview of the author of Dopamine Nation, a Dr. Anna Lemke. She's a psychiatrist, but she specializes in addiction. And she is talking about how she sees a growing trend of online phone addiction that's even bigger than drug addiction in some cases, because if we tune out of our other more traditional vices, we open ourselves up to more of the vices online. Things like porn, things like online gambling, things like over shopping online.
Or even the news, being addicted to the news, the
Even the
crazy,
news.
chaotic news these days. Yeah.
Social media, we know people talk about being totally addicted to. And so she's really putting out a call to say, this is really concerning about it. And so she had a couple of cool ideas. She said, if you can go somewhere where there is no Wi-Fi, it is liberating. And I think I was telling you about the reason we go to the desert every year or go camping is because it's a break. There's no Wi-Fi. We sit at a bonfire. We talk more. My husband and I were laughing. Our kids wouldn't stop talking. And now that we're all back online, oh my God, it's back to the phone. And, we have our certain boundaries at home. But I really think slow lane living I think the top priority is dealing with our phone consumption.
Right. How you and I, when we hit record, we put our phones on silent or on airplane mode.
Yes.
And that one small thing.
Yeah.
We could do that when we work. We
Yeah.
could do that when we're trying to get to sleep. I mean, I know some people are like, but we don't have phones at home anymore. What if there's an emergency? I think we all have to figure out our level of that.
Right.
But too many of us are forgetting that we are fully in control of the onslaught constantly flooding. It's like this massive hose constantly shooting at us.
Totally.
And we can actually close down that conduit.
When I'm going to write or do some like deep dive research, I need to keep my phone in my office, but I put it on the opposite side of the room so that if I need it, I have to physically get up and go and look at it. If it is on my desk, it is, I think of it like the ring in the Lord of the Rings, how it has this pull, it has this magnetic force to it that attracts people. I really think that these things, for better or for worse, are like the new ring. And so it's just, I think also being calm and forgiving with ourselves that these are designed to be addicted.
Well, and then we design it further. We make them cute. Mine's always getting like little updates. She gets little wardrobe changes. I mean, because the cases are like $5. And
Right.
So,
that is cute.
She's got like 4. She's
Oh my
4 little suits she
God.
can wear. And, like for me, that's like a whole thing. But really, your phone becomes a mirror of you.
Yeah.
You create your own echo chamber.
Yeah.
Right? So you were cultivating, and the algorithms are helping to
Yes.
cultivate
Yes.
more of what you want, good or bad. Whether it's lately, I've been really caught up in the drama of the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively.
Oh, that one's been fascinating.
It is so fascinating. And watching the narcissistic abuse that I see coming at poor Justin. I'm Team Justin, in case anybody's wondering.
Oh, are you?
Oh, I fully think Blake Lively and her husband are completely the masterminds of all this nonsense.
Oh, I totally don't.
Oh, interesting.
You know, he did a smear campaign on her. He hired a consultant firm to do a smear campaign on her.
But she did too.
According to who? I haven't seen any reporting on that.
Oh, girl, I got to.
Oh, okay. That's another. We'll save that for another day. I'm Team Blake over here.
Oh, that's interesting because you and I were on different teams too during the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard.
Yeah, I think she got slandered by him, and
I think she was a narcissistic, crazy person.
And they hired the same smear campaign people, Johnny Depp and this dude. Yeah. There's a lot of money being spent on this war that is being waged in public. Yes. But to your point, it's so easy to go down a rabbit hole on these things.
It is. Yes. And so like I am naturally interested in watching these kinds of things play out.
They're fascinating.
And also, I think we are at the end. I think we're seeing the end of celebrity culture. I think of celebrities being like gods and people we look up to. We want to emulate. Right. I think we're all seeing like, you know, the Hollywood industry it's lost its power. It is just a big cesspool of abuse and nonsense, and has become very damaging to our psyches, all of us. But I think that there is something about the culture of that industry. It is falling apart. It is going away. It is. It is going to be decentralized.
It's toxic.
It's very toxic.
It's very decentralized and it's toxic. The other thing that I thought was interesting in that whole thing with the Justin and Blake thing was that you know, either party that was doing that, you know, these online trolls that are hired now, these online campaigns, these smear campaigns, we know aren't just in the Hollywood industry.
Oh, no.
They have crossed over into politics. Things have been proven about the 2016 election that there really, truly was Russian online interference for that. I'm sure more will come out about our most recent time. So this is impacting all different kinds of spheres. Yeah. And it is something to be really aware of, which is, you know, back to the phone thing. It's like another thing. Okay, so I have one positive hack that we can do that I learned about this, like getting off your phone thing. I actually want to shout out a woman on Substack. Her name is Catherine Price, and she does a Substack called How to Feel Alive. And she is doing a campaign right now called How to Quit Your Phone.
Ah, okay. How do we do it?
Okay, we do. This is just week 1. So the things she's already talking about are 3 things. I love this. Number 1, write a letter to your phone.
Oh.
You're breaking up with it. And tell it why. And tell it the new kind of relationship you want to have with it. What do you want to use it for? And what do you not want to use it for?
Oh,
so
interesting.
Write a letter to your phone about what's going on, what's not working, what needs to shift. Another thing she said was, if you are a compulsive checker, like I was saying my way is to put it across the room, put a hair tie or a rubber band around your phone.
Oh.
The act of having to take it off every time you want to use your phone will stop the impulse from just checking it, right? Because we have endless reasons to check our phones now. Our texts, the weather, our bank account, you name it, right? And then the other thing she has us asking are 3 W's. When you pick up your phone, the first W is what for? Why did I just pick this up? Because half the time we're like, oh, it was there. I don't know. Why did I just pick this up? 2, why now? Does it have to be right now? And then 3, what else? What else could provide the thing? So it's like, if you're picking up your text right now or your phone right now because maybe you're a little lonely, maybe call someone instead of like doom scrolling. If you are restless, why now? Maybe go take a little walk or go do some jumping jacks. But anything to disrupt this built-in system we have going, which I think really is a phone addiction. I mean, I'm owning my part of it.
Oh, I am definitely. Absolutely. I mean, our phones are our confidants. Our phones are like I said, a mirror of who we are. So it's like the most affirming thing around.
Yeah,
right. People can be moody and come and go, but your phone's always there, and it's going to be this highly cultivated. Well, that's where I was going with the Justin Baldoni thing. So now the algorithm thinks I'm obsessed with it, and I'm not, but it keeps showing me the stuff as if I am. And I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing. I see you, YouTube. I see what you're trying to hook me into. Right. So now I have to purposely. So what you're talking about is a pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
How do we wake up? And I think to me that is the essence of slow living. It's being awake in the wheel being awake at the wheel of your life, instead of all these things like my knee-jerk reaction, or just sipping, or constantly needing affirmation, or the doom scrolling. For me, slow living means, I'm awake in my life. I'm thinking about who I am and how I want to conduct myself. What do I want in my life? What do I want in my body? Who do I want near me? How do I want to get there? And so one of the things too is I'm walking really slowly in my house. It's a little harder out in the world. We live in the Bay Area where, you'll get run over by a lady with a stroller if you're
strolling,
a stroll down the street. But in my own house, and it's interesting too how it makes me want to tidy my house more. My family was noticing, gosh, it's so nice in here. And I'm like, how do you think it got that way? Was that you, Mom? Yeah, dude, that was me. Sweeping up the bits out of your soccer socks or soccer shoes as they fall out of the front door. But because I am being more slow and intentional in my life, I do notice the things. I'm noticing that cup that keeps sitting there, or that's a catch-all and everyone leaves their stuff there, and I'll put something pretty there so no one puts their binders and their soccer shoes on it. But little things like that. I love this with the phone, because I think the phone is going to unlock so much for our girlfriends, just like it's unlocking for us.
Yes.
And the first thing we have to do is to acknowledge we are in fact addicted.
Yeah.
And that's the first way to get there. And then we'll start noticing it in other people, which is really just a reflection of us knowing we need to be looking at that for ourselves too. Totally. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. One other thing just quickly to talk about is the idea of overscheduling ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Because what I'm learning, especially right now in life, is that when I schedule less, I do more.
Yes.
And doesn't that flip the script? And I think that's a real one to unpack and unlearn, and we could, save more of that for another time. But especially as recovering good girls, there was such a pride around being overscheduled. There was such a identity around being efficient and not wasting any time. And now,
and look what I did.
Look what I did.
Look what I got done.
That robs us of presence. At least it does for me. I cannot be present if I feel booked. I just don't like it. I want less. I want more meaningful things. I want bigger gaps and padding in between the things I have to do. And then I can actually be more present for those things I'm a part of. But woo, has that been a game changer. It's funny because I was watching someone online who was supposedly kind of like a schedule guru, and they were showing their schedule with pride, and it had color coding down to 5-minute increments. Girl, I could feel my heart rate go up. And I was like, maybe that works for you. That does not work for me.
No, and we can't really bring all of ourselves and our gifts into the things that matter the most to us if we're out of breath.
Yeah.
And we're running behind.
Yeah.
And we're trying to squeeze in 3 more things.
Yeah.
It's not cute. It's not a good look.
It's not cute. And, the pandemic, it was such a hard, weird time, but we all slowed down for better or for worse. But now that I think we're back to kind of the regular groove of life, I do see a big movement like what you're promoting around slow lane, slow living. And I think that's what we need to hold on to. Because also at our age, we can't keep up with the youngins. So why bother? That's just a losing game.
It's a losing game.
And I know sometimes at work and sometimes in different situations, we feel the pressure to do that because there's also, we're a productive capitalistic society. So there's no such thing as being overworked. in capital society, right? So we need to take it upon ourselves and honor that piece of ourselves. And it's not always going to be mirrored back. So that's why we need girlfriends like Flesché around who are going to keep talking about slow lane living. Do you want to share that Substack too that you're working on around slow lane living?
Oh, well, I mean, it's my work-life motherhood, and that's where we're talking about it. And I support women over 40, moms over 40, in like really doing the things that matter and learning how do we regulate ourselves, our bodies, our nervous systems. How do we hit the reset button and get more done and have it really matter?
And I love that you're also saying be ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
That you can be both things. How many of us think, oh, in order to be ambitious, I have to sell my soul. In order to be ambitious, I'm going to be tired and spread thin. That is the model, at least I grew up.
Oh, me too. In fact, I didn't even know what it was to be regulated in my body, to get a hold of my nervous system. I didn't even know what that meant, who I was in that state.
Oh my God.
Even going to sleep when I was 8 years old, I remember just thinking. And it was just the water I was swimming in.
We were swimming in it.
It's all we knew. I mean, you and I basically grew up in Silicon Valley. Even though it took its time getting up here, being around ambitious people and being around people, movers and shakers, people changing the world, that is what we know. And I love it. When I moved away, I really missed it. I missed being around people who were changing the world. But now that I'm back, I want to change the world still in my own way,
on my own time. We can be the change makers from the slow lane.
Exactly.
Let's be the change makers from the slow lane. Let's protect our resources. Let's protect our time, but still show up 100% for the things we want to. Yeah. I love this. I'm all in.
It feels so good.
I'm all in.
It feels so good. So join us. Let's keep doing it.
Let's keep doing this.
Yeah.
So girlfriends, we're going to keep talking about this. I think we just in this one talk brought up like 5 different things that we could continue on about. And if this is also resonating from our girlfriend chat, visit us over at girlfriendsofacertainage.com. Let us know, how are you breaking up with your phone or not? And what are some ways that you'd love to call in slow living in your life? What are ways that you're doing it today? Let's celebrate the wins and let's be honest with the challenges, because like, girl, just last night, guilty, on the phone. I just went there. So we all have our slip ups, but yeah, come hang out with us. We'd love to know what you're doing and if this resonates with you. All right.
See you next time.
Bye. Bye.